What's up guys, and welcome back to Pop Beat Breakdowns. In today's video we are going to be breaking down a Charlie Puth type beat that I made in Logic Pro X. For those of you who are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button right now, as it is the best way to support the channel, and we're trying to get this channel to 100 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think we can do it. We're nearly there. Okay, so we are now in Logic. I'm just going to quickly give you a quick 5 seconds of the song just so you get an idea what it is that we are breaking down today. Okay, so this song today was written and produced all around this guitar melody that I extracted from Splice. Now, I do think that Splice is a very good site for getting inspiration and starting on projects, and I came across this guitar melody which started off this project in the key of C minor. And I just thought I could create a Charlie Puth type song because he does like to use guitar melodies in his tracks, and he likes to use repetition as well, and sort of layering of production, to keeping the production simple but flowing at the same time. So that is what we are building around. So the next thing I want to do was to try and add some drums to it. Now, I kind of modeled off Charlie Puth light switch for the drums. I wanted it to be simple, and I used a lot of different samples from Splice. We'll start with the kick drum. This is what the kick drum sounds like. Again, very simple. I kind of liked how it wasn't so like bass boomy, so like I wanted the drums to be a little bit more delicate. So then I incorporated this snare in. Very 80s sounding snare. Very wet. Very wet and roomy, boxy sounding snare. That's a good word to use it. And again, like that was all modelled off the sound of the kick and snare from Light Switch by Charlie Puth. Then I added this in from Ultrabeat. Some hi-hats. So yeah, again, it's a very simple drum beat. Now, what I did for the hi-hats is, you can see it's audio here, but I bounced this because I was starting to, at this point, trial the whole bouncing everything down to audio means you have more control over the actual instrumentation in it, and you have an overall track over the audio quality. You have more control if you bounce it to audio from MIDI. But I created this little variation in the velocity, so the hi-hat felt like it was going, emphasis on some of the hi-hats to give it a little bit more bounce. Like that. And then I just incorporated this in as well. Just some claps. As you can see, just a little double clap there at the end. Again, just a little filler to make the drum beat sound more interesting. And then I produced some toms, which I then put into one track, mixed it all in. This was more for like a transition between sections that I want to add that in. So when you put it all together, this is the pre-chorus, the chorus. It sounds like this. So the next thing we need to add at this point is bass, and I really wanted to get a particular bass sound because, again, as I said, Charlie Puth productions are actually quite simple. I wanted the bass to be quite a big feature, so you can see there is a lot of stacked bass for this track here. So this is the bass altogether, and I'm going to then play you the layers. So I used a mixture of a synth pad incorporated in with an actual synth bass, because in the chorus I wanted a little bit more low ends to sort of take up the whole spread and create a little bit more of a bigger impact in the chorus. And then in the verse and the pre-choruses, the synth pad is taken out, so it becomes a lot more stripped back and a lot more simple. So this was the first thing I added, was the 1963 semi-acoustic thumb. I like this because it had a little bit of slap to it, and I wanted the bass again to be really pronounced in the rhythm section, so I thought that was a good quality to start producing the bass through. And I incorporated that with the box synth bass. So if you want to know where these all are, these I thought it was going to be a preset. These are all Alchemy samples which I found. So again, like if you're a Logic user, you can find these for yourself. So I use this one next. And then I also added in one more just to create the exact desired bass sound that I wanted. And then when you put it all together, this is the sound of the bass. And liked it because, again, modeling off some Charlie Puth's previous songs, like he does have this very like iconic synth bass at times, or just like a normal bass with a bit of a slap. Goes one of two ways. Charlie Puth leans towards synth pop sometimes, and you can hear that in the bass. And this time around, like again, I modeled it to I wanted to be more of a synthetic bass, and just, you know, like he has very groovy bass lines in this song, so I wanted to make sure that I had one of them. And then I just incorporated that with a lot more of a simple bass in the background. Again, this is more for the chorus to give a little bit of a lift in the low end, following more the root note. Now, this synth pad is actually one of my favorites in Logic, and just to use in all my production in general. It's in Alchemy. It's called the 70s Classic Synth Bass. It's a very good bass pad to have in the background if you want a little bit more low end on any of your pads or bass. So I'll have to in there. It's very good for Weekend and Dua Lipa type beats as well. I could recommend too. And then I've just got the muted bass again, which is just the Logic preset bass. Very simple. Just to help add a little bit more low end to the pad. So that's the bass. So if we play this all together so far, this is basically how the verse and the pre-chorus are for the song. Now we kind of then address the guitars a little bit more, because again, there's just a lot missing. And again, Charlie Puth songs, they somehow have this really nice lift in choruses sometimes, or an anti-drop. This time around, I wanted there to be a lift in the chorus. So then I went to my favorite thing, the MIDI guitars in Contact. So this time around, I'll show you what I'm playing. This is actually Omnisphere, sorry, not Contact. And this was the Strat JC120 Guitar 1. And again, you can see there's a lot on this. We have a channel EQ with a real nice brightness behind the lift, and also a lift in the low end as well, because this guitar wanted it to sound not boxy, but really cover both ends of the frequency spectrum. We have a chorus, so it's spread right out to the sides of the mix, so it doesn't like over sort of like muddy the middle of the mix. And then for the pedals, we just put a flange on there just to give it a little bit more of a sort of like an 80s vibe with some tape delay. And this is what the outcome was. So it doesn't sound that pretty, but it's all about context. And then I added this melodic one in as well. And again, sounds really weird. Kind of almost like some sort of like jazzy notes thrown in there. But when you use that with the guitar, you get this. Still think it sounds strange, but when you put that in with the rest of the production, again, all about context, this is what it sounds like. Suddenly, a lot more of the low end of the guitar. So yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to add was some pads, and I've added two pads here in the tracks. First one, we've got the dark background, which is a preset in the retro synth in Logic. I'll just quickly show you this one. You may have seen this one in previous videos. Very nice, the dark background, and it sounds like this, just playing the chords. And throwing that in with the Secret Dawn, which is an Alchemy preset. So yeah, when you throw it all together, this is what the track sounds like. Now, for the pre-chorus, again, it's just how Charlie Puth songs are, because it's very simple. You will hear when I play this replay a few, I've sort of like almost had everything in, plays through to the chorus, and again, it's just a very simple production, but it fits the criteria of a Charlie Puth sounding beat. So yeah, enjoy this Charlie Puth type beat that I made. So yeah guys, that was my Charlie Puth type beat. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well if you're not subscribed already. Plenty more beat making videos to come before the end of the year. So yeah guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.